The female lead tells women's stories. Remarkable, diverse, inspiring. An educational charity promoting positive female role models who show the many different routes to success and fulfillment.
So often I hear people saying, oh, how do I get started? How do I do this? How do you do it? You just start. You have to begin. And it won't be perfect, and it'll be messy, and it'll be hard. But you're doing something, and you're on your way.
Empowering future generations of women through films. And a book of 60 women donated to 18,000 schools in the UK and USA, reaching millions of young people. And through our female lead societies, we help girls to discover new role models that speak to their passions, ambitions and careers. Through our research into social media and mental health, we found a solution to the negative impact of social media on teen girls. Through a simple intervention which encouraged girls to follow different influencers, we were able to change their entire social media experience and sense of well-being. We called this campaign Disrupt Your Feed, and it reached 20 million people on social, with 330 million impressions all over the globe. So what's next? As well as inspiring girls, we're now finding ways to measurably improve the lives of older women through data, research, and the stories of those who have overcome challenges and found their own personal versions of success. We're a long way from being finished. Join us in our mission.
Are we going to talk about women's rights again? Yes, we're going to talk about it until there's balance.
Hello, everyone. Hi, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. This is the Female Lead LinkedIn Live. We have a special one for you today. We are talking about Unstoppable Together, the road to a SHEcovery. And for this important topic, we are going to be joined by the fabulous number 7 team. So, I'm Edwina Dunn. I'm the founder of the Female Lead. It's a charity. We celebrate amazing and diverse women, inspiring role models, and models that can be used for future generations and future leaders. Because, as we all know, you can't be what you can't see. But I'm delighted to see the wonderful Katie Swift. Hello, Katie.
Hi, Edwina.
Now, Katie is the UK Marketing Director for Number 7, an amazing brand, the #1 brand. And Katie is going to tell us a little bit about the campaign that she and her team have been running. Over to you, Katie.
Thanks, Edwina, and it's lovely to be here. It's really nice. What an unusual thing for us to be doing on a Thursday. So let me talk to you a little bit about the campaign. So at the back end of 2020, we did a bit of research at Number 7, both here in the UK and in the US, to really understand what the impact of the pandemic has been on women. And actually, that research showed us a number of things. The first is that we know that women have been disproportionately impacted by the pandemic. So we are more overworked and anxious, certainly, in the last 12 months. And we've been twice as likely to sacrifice our career to play a role as caregiver for the family in a number of different guises, actually. So whilst we've got those quite startling statistics, we've also got some really infusing ones, which is that the amount of female startups that have been founded has doubled. And the Fortune 500 have made more female CEOs than ever before, which is incredible. So those findings really help demonstrate that women are absolutely fundamental to a post-pandemic recovery, which I know that we both feel very passionately about, and uniting unstoppable women, which is very key for number 7, and is becoming part of that SHEcovery. We've launched a really exciting campaign. So we have a new free-to-access digital hub that we've created in partnership with AllBright, which is an amazing female community created to champion women and help them achieve their goals. So I shall stop there and play you a really brilliant film that we've created at number 7.
2020 wasn't just a setback, it was a revelation.
There's too many of you crying. Oh, brother, brother, brother. There's far too many of you dying.
Why? Because even with all of the progress we've made, we're still called on to be caregivers first, and we're still more likely to earn less than male counterparts, putting us at risk of having 50 years of progress wiped out, just like that. But the truth is, we keep rising.
What's going on? 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 What's going on?
Because we've come too far to only come this far. Together, we are unstoppable. And together we will get our friends and sisters back into the workplace. Because you know what's really going on? We are.
Thank you very much for letting me share that, Edwina. So what that film showed, and some of those statistics earlier, so together with AllBright, number 7 have been beavering away in the background for a number of months now, so lots and lots of hard work, to produce a programme of 7 video-led courses. And together they form the number 7 and AllBright Unstoppable Together SHEcovery Collection. So these courses are brilliant, if I don't say so myself. They are led by a real subject matter expert within the AllBright community, and they're there to help explore, inspire, educate women around some of the really big challenges that we face. It might be those things that we've already faced as part of the pandemic or things that are upon us. But the courses have got loads of tools and resources. They've got full transcripts depending on everyone's accessibility needs. They've got video materials. They've got reading lists. They've got check sheets. They've got a myriad of different things, all designed to help women achieve their goals and realise their full potential.
Well done you for spearheading.
A lot of teamwork. I can't claim any claim, but fantastic teamwork and an incredible partnership. We're really proud of it.
Well, no, I think it's fantastic. And I think the more we can do to help each other, I mean, our mantra is we rise by lifting others. And I think if we can do that, if we can help each other and learn from each other, then that is such a powerful thing. And I love and know the AllBright, and I'm sure it will be a phenomenal partnership. So can I just say to everyone, we are now going to have a little discussion, which I hope will stimulate some thoughts and ideas. And I'm going to introduce 2 more people. Can I just say to you, don't forget, please, you can ask questions. And I know that as a wonderful audience that's used to these kind of events, you always have a thought, a question, or an opinion. So do please send those in. There will be time at the end, we'll make sure. But in the meantime, let me introduce our 2 other special guests. The first is Dr. Ateh. Now, Dr. Ateh, hello, hi, lovely to see you. Now, Ateh is a multi-award winning journalist. She's a producer, a director, an influencer. She's been and specialised in the beauty industry for 20 years, which I find hard to believe looking at you, but there we go. You're on the advisory board of the British Beauty Council, and you're also a mother to twin girls that appear on your social media feed. So lovely to have you, Ateh, and I'll come back to you in just a moment. Can I also now please introduce Krystle McGilvery? Hi, Krystle. Nice to see you. Now, Krystle is one of the number 7 and AllBright SHEcovery course leaders. So you're one of the people bringing this to life, bringing this inspiring content and this useful learning to our audiences and to all of those who wish to connect and be involved. So that's absolutely fantastic. And Krystle, your background is all about providing financial education and guidance, not only to families, but also to early stage business owners. So you are the money woman and you know all about money. That's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And again, I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions for you. And Katie, we didn't really spend much time on you, but I just want to remind everyone, you are the marketing director for the UK's #1 skincare brand, one that we trust and love. You are a passionate and enthusiastic beauty marketeer, and you have also been doing this for over 20 years. And at the same time, during all of this, you have been homeschooling your child or children. Oh no, 2 sons you have.
Yeah, 2 boys.
I mean, all credit, really all credit. So we're going to talk about all of that in a moment. So welcome everyone. And if I may, I'm going to just jump in with the first question because we have so many for you. So let's talk first about what life's been throwing at us, what it's been throwing at each of you. It's been a really tough year. For all of us, I think. But as you said, Katie, especially for women, how have you coped? How have you managed this sort of Groundhog Day feeling? And what kind of things have you given yourself or taught yourself that keep you sane and motivated? Where shall we start? Shall we start with Ateh? Let's start with you.
Hello, it's so lovely to be here. I'm so honoured to be chatting with you all. It's very exciting. This year has been so challenging. Last year, since the pandemic, for me, it was all about connecting. It's really interesting connecting with my Wednesday chat club. I started Instagram Live. I was very shy to do any kind of online activity. So I really tapped into, I love your mantra, we rise by lifting each other up. So it was about connecting to other people, being in nature, going for walks and finding really positive rituals to help me with my mental health because it was very challenging.
That's lovely. Yeah, really nice thoughts, really nice advice. And Krystle, how about you?
Yeah, I think I'll start with something similar. I think connecting plays such a significant role. I mean, whether it's connecting with family members and making the effort to give someone a call, doing a video call. And I think on my social as well, I started events where I'd get like-minded people together. And that was so empowering. It makes you feel good to connect with people like you. And finally, I draw as well. So I just kind of really chucked myself into my creative side to allow me to just switch off at those times where I felt a bit bogged down and just get lost in the moment. That really helped.
And it's rather nice to move away from screens and use paper, I would imagine. That's a really good call. Really good call. Katie, how about you?
I mean, in a quest not to be too repetitive, I think the connection point is really important to me. I am, as you probably gathered, quite an extroverted character, and I really thrive off human interaction. So the lockdown in one room, I mean, I affectionately call this my little office prison because it's just 4 walls all day, every day. But I'm really, really lucky to have an incredible team around me. And early on in lockdown, we started a bit of a kind of like regular daily update. I think I sent 135 in the end. And do you know what? It was just an opportunity to talk to people, to reach out to people. We had like film tips, we had music suggestions, we had like funny things that have happened that might be quite minor, but just a way of using other people for your energy source and making sure that they can help you stay buoyant. It was really critical for me, and still is.
Well, I think, I think everyone's had to find their own way, but I mean, what has the industry had to cope with? What are the sort of profound lessons that the industries had to conquer during this time? I mean, is this something that the Beauty Council has had a view on, has shared ideas on, or what can any of you tell me about navigating this for businesses, entrepreneurs, everyone out there who's hurting?
I can jump in. I know that the beauty industry just shut down. It was devastating. And especially, we're all chatty catties. We're all very social creatures in the beauty industry. And also not to be on the shop floor or the salon was just economically, socially devastating. And I know this time was about how to adapt, how to pivot, maybe people doing online educational courses. But I think the word adapting and taking care of your sort of wellness and mental health was really important during this time. But I think being flexible and trying to adapt any way possible was really key to getting through.
And maybe I can ask you, Krystle, with your sort of personal finance coach skills, have you seen firsthand, women losing their jobs, being furloughed, struggling to keep their businesses afloat? What have you seen, and what have you been able to do to help?
Yeah, I was going to jump in a moment ago, actually. Same with the finance space. So a lot of what I do is helping people, whether it's with their personal finances or their business finances, and a lot of it, like you said, Ateh, is education and people, an increase in people wanting to learn about the basics of finance and creative ways to get more money effectively. There are so many little creative things you can do to bring in and increase your revenue streams. And yeah, Katie, obviously I talk about that on the course. But a lot of what I've been doing during this time is doing sessions, whether it's one-on-one or in groups, or just sharing information on my page to help people increase their income and cope and understand what they can do, like, holidays and things like that. Payment holidays, that is.
So you're not going to tempt us with a little hint or tip there. We're going to have to do the course properly. Very wise, very wise. Perhaps I can ask you to talk to, I mean, there's been research, hasn't there, about who's done the homeschooling and how that burden has landed. But, what can you say about the impact this has had on your work and just your sort of feelings about what is normally your kind of, I suppose, resting time,
the stat that I shared a while ago about being overworked and anxious, I'm sort of a year on now, really retrospectively looking past at the past year. So I have two sons, they're 9 and 11, so they're both primary school. And overnight, as I'm sure many women, was launched into homeschooling at the same time as having a pretty full-on day job as well, trying to not be resentful or bitter to my husband, who get to leave the house every day and interact with other people. But I think it was a really tough time, in all honesty, and I'm sure lots of other women have faced it. I've got a number of colleagues, even in my own team, that have all been in similar situations. I think my overall reflections are there's almost funny enough, I wrote myself a post-it about a year ago, which was resilience isn't about pushing on through. So there's definitely something for me about recognizing that sometimes it's okay to just call out that it's a bit too much. And I think my overarching reflection is that I can certainly speak on behalf of my own children, that the impact for them was almost was as big as well. They've all of a sudden lost their social network, they've lost their connectivity, they've lost their purpose and somewhere to be. So we were all in it together, really. And what I tried to live by and help my other fellow female colleagues that were going through it was you can't do it all, and your best is enough. And actually they're all right. They can still add up. I mean, whether they know what a noun is or not is still questionable, but you know, they're okay, and they're in a better place emotionally and stability wise. So yeah,
great advice. You can't do it all.
Can't do it all.
And you can't have it all. And actually, I think these words sound so short and simple, but yeah. I think they're really, really important. Can I be just a little selfish just for a moment? I want to just ask you about the research the female lead did, which is really about this psychological condition that we've been exploring through lockdown. So we've gone to many women across all sectors and asked them about, you know, how they feel about work, what matters to them, what holds them back. And we've been able to find myths and talk about myths that we can dispel, but there are some persistent problems. And this condition we've called the unentitled mindset. And the unentitled mindset is something that's really a learned behavior. It's what happens to us as we grow up, as we come into the workplace. And it kind of evolves from experiences and conditioning, encouraging women to expect a little less sometimes, to take up not too much space, not to demand more. And, you know, in a sense, the mental load of caring at home, organising schools, rotas, all of this adds to this feeling that we've got so much going on in our heads that maybe we can't give 150% to being in the office in all hours. So there's a whole area of research that's developed. And I want to ask you, I don't think it's like just women, but does this condition, does this idea of, you know, I get some flexibility, therefore perhaps I shouldn't ask for promotion or ask for more because I'm already getting benefits. Is this something that you've been aware of, or is this something, you know, very new to you and interesting? Perhaps I can ask you, Katie, first.
I think it's a real insight. What I would say over the past, I would say 12 to 18 months is I have honestly seen a real shift in the way that women in the workplace sort of think about their actions and their reflections. Do you know what I mean? So perhaps an immediate reaction a while ago to your point there, Edwina, oh, well, you know, I leave a bit early to pick the kids up from school, therefore I've got to pull my weight this way, or I've got to do something different. And I genuinely have noticed a shift where the mindset has been less about, forgive me, you're doing me a favor because I'm playing the female card, to actually, no, that's just that's not a compromise, that's not a special treatment that you're giving me. It's to your point, it's not that I'm entitled, it's the entitlement. I've noticed a real shift. I can honestly say that what I've noticed in the workplace around my female colleagues is almost acceptance to say that's not okay, hang on a minute. Would we treat everybody like that? Would we have that same attitude to everybody in the workplace? Potentially not. And if that's the case, then I'll have equality where it needs to be.
That's very uplifting, your thought and awareness of that. And of course, you know, this is an opportunity to build back better, isn't it? This, you know, what we've been through, which is sort of cataclysmic, is really an opportunity. Ateh, what do you think about that opportunity? What do you think should or could be done?
I agree. I so agree. I think, you know, I studied history at university, and after every great disaster comes huge social change. And as you said, we've been through something so, like, you know, destructive, but from the destruction comes something very constructive. I think people are really beginning to see what's important, how do they want to work, how do they want to live, and sort of shedding that kind of, you know, the mum guilt. You know, I think it's about who are we, what do we want to do, and how do we want to achieve it? So I'm quite positive people are not accepting old constructs anymore. So I'm quite hopeful for the future that people, the way we work and live, will change quite dramatically.
Brilliant. That's really good to hear. And Krystle, what are you thinking when you hear that?
Yeah, I mean, I can't touch on the motherhood stuff as yet, but I think in terms of my experience for me personally and what I've seen with the people I'm connecting with, I think definitely, I think as a result of the connections and you know, being exposed to a more diverse range of people, it exposes you to actually, I can do that, I can try that, and it allows people to put themselves in other places and be a bit more bold about what they want for their life, themselves and their lives. I mean, even myself, going back several years and looking at who I was then, I'm completely different. And I know it's a result of putting myself in certain situations, reaching out and connecting with other women who are doing things that I'd love to do, and just watching myself grow. And I can see that for the people I'm working with as well, watching them stand a bit taller and be a bit more confident and going for it, whether it's pay rise or trying that, you know, other business or the business idea they've had. So yeah, definitely I see growth.
I'm so delighted that these conversations are happening and that people are feeling, you know, this is an opportunity to be a bit more confident, a bit bolder is the word you used. I think that's so exciting. And, you know, having the right words for that and the right tools for that, which clearly you're helping with here, I think is fantastic. So as Ateh said, out of bad can come real change and really good things after years of trying to change and it not really happening. So, okay, fantastic. Well, okay, let's talk about fighting the SHEcession as a kind of sisterhood. I always feel slightly strange when I say sisterhood. It always feels like a really cool modern word, but I'm getting to love it, so I shall say it. Krystle, the beauty industry is predominantly women. There was some financial support for the industry from government, but, you know, from what you said about, you know, the disaster that's happened to the industry, it's really down to what individuals are doing, what women are doing. So, you know, is it all just down to each person's individual efforts now? Is there any kind of advice or help you can offer?
Are you referring to finances specifically or the beauty industry specifically?
Well, I think, you know, some of the industries have been supported financially, haven't they?
Right.
You know,
Yes.
through COVID, post-COVID, they've been given a booster. You've been really clear, you know, the beauty industry has been knocked for six. I shouldn't say six in front of number 7, should I? But there we are, knocked for six. And so is it just down to the individual? What are the groups or what is anything being done to actually help it get back on its feet?
In terms of businesses, I mean, I think if we're looking at the government and the incentives and things they've put in place and benefits that are available for businesses and the individual, I think when I educate people or talk to people, it's about one. I think the first thing is not being embarrassed about claiming benefits and kind of getting what you can. We are coming out of a pandemic, a recession. Now is the time to get what you need and keep yourself afloat. And on the business side as well, same, claim what you can. And I think, you know, I could talk about this for too long, but if we talk about, you know, systemically and policy, there is lots to be done there. And I'm not going to go into that now, which I think will make a significant difference.
Ateh, Katie, you want to add anything to that?
I know the British Beauty Council, Millie Kendall, was fighting so hard. You know, we were writing letters to Downing Street and the Beauty Back campaign with Carolyn Hirons at the helm, where we were really pushing for economic support. It was really telling to see how the beauty industry was held in what esteem by the government. You know, an industry that brings in more than the British car industry was treated so shabbily, in my opinion. So it was quite heartbreaking, but also it made me really proud how we all came together to take care of each other as a community. But it was really devastating, but it was very, very hard for so many people.
You know, one of the values of the female lead is, you know, one of the values from all the women we've ever spoken to is ask for help. You know, it is something that I think women are particularly good at, and they're good at learning and accepting help. And I think, you know, the courage that women have had to talk about these issues has meant that people can learn from each other and grow from that. Is this part of your ambition, Katie, with what you're doing here with AllBright and the campaign that you're running, that idea of, you know, asking for more encouragement and support and skills? What's your vision from that?
I think it is that the vision is that we want to help women feel empowered, feel inspired, feel like they can achieve their full potential, because what we've got is a true cultural insight which shows that we understand women. And Number 7 is an enormous brand, so we've got a lot of very loyal consumers, but we've been around for a very long time in the UK, where and it's synonymous with Boots, and it's a responsibility we take very, very seriously. So to Ateh's point, we're operating an industry which has seen businesses go under, which has seen the demise of a number of different brands in the industry, a myriad of female entrepreneurs that run salons, that run hairdressers, that have come across some really, really difficult times. And if we can play our part to recognise that cultural insight, and as a brand that champions women, that's here to support women, can play a small part in helping them feel like they can achieve their potential, then it's a great day at work for me. Absolutely.
Really well said. How nice. Lovely. I have been gripped by that new documentary on BBC Two, which featured Number 7 in the last episode, which is about the history of makeup through the generations. It's so good. What I love about your industry is that the science is just not as visible as I would love it to be, because it is such a scientific industry. It's really, really clever. And through the years, what's been created and refined, and, you know, Number 7 has been out there, you know, through sort of many of these years, innovating and changing the industry. It's so exciting. I mean, talent for the future must be one of the things that you really want to draw people into.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got such a rich heritage, and even back to when Number 7 was launched, I mean, our connections with Boots and the role that Florence played, and she was a philanthropist, and she was there and she supported communities, and we have innovated. We've been first to market for a number of different things, and every bit of innovation, particularly in skincare, that we bring to the market now has such a plethora of scientific credentialing, scientific testing, clinical claims, clinical testing, because we want to bring the most incredible products that we can do to women. It's really interesting, actually, because I was having a conversation the other day about the volume of scientific testing that we do, and young women that are interested in STEM. So, and I found that really fascinating, and how we can really help women understand that there's a careers to be had in sciences, and how that is swinging back to being at more equal levels in what has been a traditionally very male-orientated profession.
And you are, you know, you're really using data in an incredibly scientific and proving way. So, you know, what has been happening with track and trace and all of the data on coronavirus, I mean, you've been studying and learning and innovating for years and years. So
yes, definitely, and we'll continue to do so. It's really important that whenever we bring products or insight from the brand to consumers, it's done in a really robust way, and we can demonstrate clinical impact and efficacy of all of our products. So it's a major part of our brand and our strategy. Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, we're moving to the last session for the panel, and I just want to remind people that you can send in your questions. So we're just going to do a few more, but let's now talk optimistically about this brighter future for women. So, yeah, I mean, are you hopeful? Are you excited? And what thing have you seen or discovered that has made you feel most excited about what can come from, as Ateh said, the bad to a better future? Ateh, why don't you kick us off, given it was your comment and your idea that you expressed first?
I mean, you know, to think how much the world has changed in just 12 months, a year, is quite staggering, from all the conversations we're having, you know, about social justice, about how we want to live, feeding vulnerable children. I mean, last year, I never wore colour, if you can believe it. And the pandemic literally made me face my fears and think, I want to live for now and be the best version of myself. And I threw on pink and I haven't sort of stopped. And I think it's like a metaphor for the rest of the world. Just get stuck in, you know, tomorrow is not guaranteed. And it's about how can we make things better for each other and make a better world. And I think that is quite exciting and really hopeful. So the work, definitely, I feel very hopeful.
As well, you look wonderful in that pink, she says, sitting in black, as I often do. You look gorgeous in that pink. Krystle, what has inspired or motivated or made you think it can be better? What have you seen? What have you done or learned?
I think I've taken the plunge and started a new business recently. And I think that has put me in a wonderful new space of more connectivity. I have an amazing business partner as well, and that obviously exposes me to more people, and just meeting wonderful people along the journey, and you know, new mentors, which are amazing, inspiring people, has just given me this encouragement and encouraged me to go and help more people. So I've recently had some great ideas about things that I can do to bring people together and help more women effectively in the space of finance, development, confidence. With money. I think that's number one, and just understanding themselves mentally. And I think I'm just really excited to kind of go down that road. Yeah.
I'm really interested in, so one of the pillars that we're looking at the moment is money.
Yeah.
Because, you know, so often money is about empowerment. It's about having the means and, you know, the control over what you invest in, what you do. So, and it's a subject that on the whole women don't talk about very openly. And I quite often hear people go, oh, that's sort of boring. You know, I really don't want to go to a seminar on financial management, but it is a liberation tool, isn't it?
It is. And I think, you know, I was an accountant for over 10 years. I did the whole 9-to-5 thing, and traditionally accounting, finance is quite grey as a colour. I think I'd bring in you, Ateh, here. So, you know, coming out of that, no, I'm like, actually, money, finances, you can use it to do so much. Your life and what you want your life to be, use money as a tool. And I talk about it in such a way, as opposed to it being a bogged down, scary thing that, oh, money, finances, I don't know what I'm doing. I say that you do know what you're doing. You just have to apply it to your finances in the right way. And that's how I go about encouraging people. It's not about maths and numbers. It's actually about what do you want, and let's align your finances accordingly.
Because a lot of these new financial apps are about you know, deciding what you want your money for and putting a little away
Yes,
each time.
exactly.
This is for me, this is for a holiday, this is for the house.
Yeah. So you start with you first. You start with what you want, what you care about. Where do you see yourself? And be really creative and free with it and have fun. And then, okay, well, let me just match up my numbers to that. And that's how I work, really. And I think what I do with people when I position it that way, it's so exciting. You know, I literally clap during our sessions and we get really.
Oh, we've frozen just a little bit there, mid very exciting sentence. I'm therefore going to hop to you, Katie. I mean, you've risen to a very senior role. I mean, what has financial empowerment meant to your sense of fulfillment and your joy of the work you do and the impact that you have? What has that meant?
I mean, I am very fortunate to be in the role, and I think it's really interesting. Over the past 10 years, I've had waves of. It was a very, very complimentary freeze, though, Krystle. You know, there's like many times when it's a horrific phase. It was just like this, so don't worry about that.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Sorry, I've lost my train of thought there. I was going to say that there's been times over the past decade when it's not been quite so easy because in full transparency, I'm the breadwinner in my household. And in the early days of my children being very young, when I was hit with absolutely extortionate childcare fees, which I'm sure lots of women have faced, made financial liberation a bit more difficult. Now that they're a bit older, it does represent a bit more of a freedom to be able to travel a bit more, to be able to go on holiday with my family a bit more. I can afford to treat myself a little bit more and perhaps be not quite think about it in the same way that I would have done a little while ago. But I really try not to take it for granted. I'm constantly trying to talk to my children about if we are lucky enough to go on an extravagant holiday, then just we haven't always been like that, and we may never always be like that. So let's just try and appreciate the luxury moments when we've got them. But I'm absolutely with Ateh in that tomorrow is not guaranteed. Like wear the good stuff, wear the posh shoes, wear the jewelry, could get run over by a bus tomorrow, live for the now. Couldn't agree more. Oh,
I love that idea of wear it all now.
Wear it all. Well, I mean, I went to the office today. It's almost like I step into the red carpet. Just why not? Why not? And this year's tour is nothing else. I mean, it wasn't quite a ball gown, but still, do you know what? It could have easily been.
One of our female leads wears her ball gowns in her lives and looks completely gorgeous in them, absolutely stunning. And everybody wants to see which new gown is going to come out for the next event. The thing I just wanted to mention, Katie, because you told me earlier, is that lovely map behind. I was geographer right at the beginning, and that map keeps appealing. But you said something quite poignant, which is, you know, that fun for the family was showing where you'd gone. And of course, it's just yellowing this year, I guess.
It's just yellowing, yeah. So this is my, we've had this for 8 years. It's wallpaper, it takes up the wall. And it's a bit of it's like a kind of repository really for the family. It's full of sticky dots. There's a very extravagant coding system, which I'm not going to explain. But it's just full of sticky dots about where we've been. And I happen to say that in the past 18 months, we've not added any dots, but I'm a forever optimist and more dots will be had. And in 2022, we're going to, buy more dots.
That's a very good mission statement. And I was actually going to finish with my last question before I hand over to the audience, which is, what is it that you want to do as we come out of lockdown? What is the fun, the mission, the dream that you really want to do? What are you most looking forward to, you know, when you're jabbed and protected and we're back out there? So who wants, Ateh, kick us off. What is it you want to do? Wear pink, yes. What else?
Check.
Check, yeah.
I mean, definitely like Katie, traveling, just exploring, feeling, you know, just basically everything I'm doing now, but just bigger. So I'm, you know, I'm writing a book. I've got my beauty brand, which is exciting. I want to travel around and do talks and connect with people. I think if anything has taught me, you know, I've learned anything from the pandemic, is that people and relationships and doing your passion and purpose is the only thing that matters, and just do it on a bigger scale, you know. So, you know, next year we'll be in a room together having this chat. That would be lovely.
That would be fun, really fun. That's the celebrations that we've missed. It's been Zoom next, Zoom or
Yes.
StreamYard, you know, and it's, yeah, I'm with you. Krystle, what do you think? What do you dream of? What's the plan?
I went traveling for a year and a half, so I totally miss traveling, being on a plane, being in another country. Love to go back to Asia. So travel, number one. And I think with the business that I launched last year, we're having great conversations and, you know, bringing on clients, but I'd love to get in the room. You can have much better conversations in person and develop it faster and quicker and deeper. So I'm just keen to do that. And connect with more people and bring about more solutions to help more people. I think through the last year being locked in front of my computer, I've definitely connected with more people, and so many more opportunities have come about for me to share this knowledge that I'm so passionate about. So just doing that in a bigger way gets me excited.
Do you think it's possible to make great friends online?
I have.
Yes, you have.
I totally have. There are some people I'm itching to physically meet because it's like we are sisters. I don't know how, but yeah, I really connect with some great people, and I like you guys to feel the same.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
great.
And new people and relationships that have flourished through, I think, through lockdown. People that I've seen more of virtually. I've enjoyed more time with them socially, virtually, and it's strengthened those friendships and relationships for the better.
And we've kind of seen each other in moments of greater vulnerability, haven't we? With, like you, Katie, said your son might come in or something like that, you know, and it's like these moments happen in meetings, and, you know, the window cleaner comes and starts waving through the window or something like that while you're on a meeting. So it's kind of fun. And yeah, I guess we're all more vulnerable, really, and open, which not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing.
No,
Yeah, I love that.
lovely.
I love seeing people, children on a Zoom call. We're
Absolutely.
humans.
Yeah, we're human. I mean,
or someone's postman coming and knocking on the door, or a delivery. We are all
always,
human. It's lovely.
it's always the DPD driver, Ateh, isn't it? It's always the DPDs. It's always the ASOS parcels. Just a community of ASOS deliveries virtually all day.
Oh, that sounds fun. That sounds fun. Right. So wonderful, wonderful conversation. I've absolutely loved it. I feel like I've got to know each of you, you know, a little more, and, you know, a little more of that sort of personal side. Absolutely great. But I'm now going to say to the audience, okay, here we go. Right. What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given in your career? Who wants to jump in?
I'd go.
Great, Krystle.
I think the best I've been given is, even though you may not feel ready, go for it. So go and try and do and make a mistake and get up again and try again with that newfound knowledge. I think that's the biggest piece that I've been given, and I've implemented it and seen amazing results.
Does the pain of making a mistake lessen as you kind of make more because you're growing more and stretching more? Does it matter less, that kind of embarrassment or shame around, I made a mistake? Oh no, horror.
Totally. And I mentioned this again. So let me just quickly paint the picture. So back when I was an accountant working at my desk, I was very timid, quiet, shy behind the computer screen and didn't put myself out there at all. At home, yeah, I'm the clown of the family. I'm a buffoon. I make faces, I dance crazy, but in the workplace, you wouldn't find me doing that. But, you know, as I took myself out and became self-employed and started a business, I was terrified, so much so that I sought a therapist to help me overcome that. And as I have, the fear sits on my shoulder and we're friends. It's okay, I feel this fear, but I'm going to do it anyway, not to quote the book, but I'm going to go forward. And now I'm ready, I'm afraid, but I'm going to do this and I'm going to be great. And that's come about through experience.
That's absolutely brilliant. And that's wonderful to share and to see how you can conquer that fear and come out strongly at the other end. Really brilliantly said and brilliantly shared. Do we have any more advice, or shall we go on to? Oh, we've gone on. Let's just have one more. Ateh wants to say something about the last question, Becky.
I would say definitely have the best advice. Have fun, enjoy, like lean into it and enjoy what you're doing, and also service. It's not about you, it's how you can help other people. And once you give into that, your ego goes out the window. A lot of kind of, I'm a recovering people pleaser, that goes out the window. And it's about helping other people, and it gives you such permission, and it makes you so ferocious for, you know, and as women, you will do things not for yourself, but for your best friend. And so it gives you that confidence and courage because you're doing for others. So I found that really helpful.
Oh, I love that. I'm a recovering people pleaser. That's fantastic. I think it's such a common thing to suffer from, and it's a beautifully said piece of advice.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Shall we move on, Katie, or are you driven to answer that question? Shall we do the next one? Louise. Louise asked, what are these? Oh, here we are. This one for you. What are these courses with AllBright mentioned at the beginning, and where can we find more information? Wonderful.
Well, so there is a variety of different courses. There's 7 in total, all video led, talking about a number of different topics. I mean, Krystle referenced a couple earlier. You can find all of the information right there. There we go. So I was going to say, if you head over to our landing page, which talks about the partnership, talks about the program, how you can access all of the information is there at that below link.
That's why I hope we left that on long enough. We'll put it maybe on again at the end.
There we go. There it is.
Yeah, just but we'll make sure we keep that visible in some way. Thank you, Becky. Right, here we go. Who inspires you? Lovely. Oh, sorry, Katie. What about who inspires you?
Oh, that's a big question, isn't it? I'm going to say, because I'm sure my team will be watching this and think, if you do it, I can predict what she's going to say. So whilst it might sound far-reaching, I'm going to say it, and that's Michelle Obama, which I appreciate is in the upper echelons of female empowerment, but I choose her because she operates with such an incredible intellect, compassion, empathy, and a kind of gravitas as a female that I find it really empowering. When I read her book Becoming, which if nobody's ever read, I absolutely implore you to do so. It almost had a visceral reaction in me. I mean, I can remember sitting my children down saying, did you know that Michelle Obama's children make their own beds every day in the White House? Make your bed. But I think one of the overarching things that book and her outlook in life was around working hard, putting the hours in, and standing up for what you believe in and reaping the benefits as a result. And I definitely resonate with hard work, optimism, and just like self-belief and self-confidence. So I appreciate she's up there, but it's somebody I'd love her to be. That's my spirit animal.
Why not? I mean, I think that's a phenomenal choice. I mean, we're not limited in our dreams.
We're not. No.
Ateh, who for you?
I love Michelle Obama, but it sounds obnoxious. But when I was in the beauty industry 20 years ago, there was no one who looked like me, who was doing anything like me. So it was really hard. I didn't have any role models. So I said to myself, I want to be me in 10 years' time. And so every 10 years, I put a marker down of who I want to be, what I want to achieve, and I go for it. And, you know, I'm a very competitive person, but only with myself. And so I want to be the person I'm going to be at 53 in 10 years' time. And I say the things that I want to achieve and who I want to be. And then the next 10 years and the next 10 years. But, you know, Michelle Obama's amazing, but I always had that. Who do I want to be? Where do I want to go? That's always inspired me.
I think we are our own toughest taskmaster quite often. I think sometimes we can be almost unfair with ourselves when we set goals of what we want and when we want to be there. But, you know, I think if it works for you, and clearly you've been doing something right, why not? You know, I mean, I think too often we deflect, you know, light from ourselves and we always make it about someone else. I really like your answer because it's within ourselves to motivate ourselves and to stretch ourselves. So it's
learning to be your own cheerleader. That's what I learn to be your own cheerleader. I think that's a very difficult thing, but having that is healthy for me.
Kelly T loves it, loves what you've just said. Well done, Kelly. That's fantastic. Krystle, where do you go after that? Who inspires you?
Well, I do have someone in mind, and I'm glad no one said. I've got Tracee Ellis Ross, so Diana Ross's daughter. And I think she inspires me because she's all about accepting you for who you are. And I think that was a large part of my journey, being confident in my own skin, my background, you know, growing up in social housing, single parent family, and just being okay with that. And I think you touched on it briefly earlier, the unentitled, that was me, 100%. So I think Tracee helped me kind of come through that and stand tall, confident, and go for it. So she's definitely an idol, along with Michelle, definitely. But Tracee Ellis Ross.
Well, I think, Krystle, you could be a poster girl for our unentitled mindset. And I love what you've just said. That's so good. So good. Thank you. Right. Do we have another question, Becky? Right. And I'm afraid we're right towards the end. So we'll have to answer this quickly. How do you create healthy work-life boundaries? Quite a big question. Who feels like jumping in first? Short answers, please.
I can go, Edwina. I'll give a few bits. So things that I've adopted recently. So I'm lucky enough to be able to create space in my house between work and home. I shut the door at the end of the day. That's massively important to me. It doesn't matter whether it's messy behind it. I would encourage you to always have conversations with your leaders about what works for you and what doesn't, what you're prepared to do and what you're not to do. So set the expectation and stay true to it. So as a leader of a very high performing team, I don't do emails at the weekend. I had a very early on conversation. That's my family time. Evenings are really important to me. I've just contracted that and set that as the expectation.
Nice. Good. Drawing the lines. Really good. Ateh, Krystle, who wants to go next?
I'll jump in. I've been freelance since I was 23, and someone gave me this brilliant advice, which has been really good in lockdown. Before you start work in the morning, go out, have a walk, and come back to work into your house. And at the end of the day, set a time, go out for a walk, decompress, and then go home to your evening time. And it's about little rituals, because things can bleed into one, but have little rituals that say, no, this is my bath time now, and from now I relax and I watch movies, or I read, or I draw. From now I work. And just put little rituals in and stick to them. Demarcate your time and value that your time is precious, because you have to stay healthy, because if you're not healthy, you're not productive.
Wonderful. Krystle, last thought?
Yes. My last thought is similar to Ateh's, I think it's the rituals, being very strict. If you need to, bring on a friend to maybe say both of you at 7 o'clock in the evening, you're going to do this together, whether you share a Zoom, do a yoga session or whatever it may be. I think I start my day every day with meditation and yoga, so that, you know, being strict on that. And if you can, assign a day, whether it's a Saturday, Sunday, or timing the evening to do something for you. Like I said, mine's drawing. I draw every Sunday. You know, I move physically very slowly, which means I'm not working, because when I'm working, I'm very strict, very, very rigid, very mechanical when I'm working. But yeah, assign time that you're literally very slow, candles, and just self-care.
I love it. You have each painted a picture of a very wonderful other life, which suggests to me you have worked out some kind of balance. So we have to draw a line there. I'd like to thank very much the audience for their wonderful engagement and their questions. I know that they will have been chatting away and exchanging ideas and thoughts. I want to say a huge thank you to Ateh, to Krystle, and very importantly to Katie, who has helped us with her team to put this fabulous session together. Do please take a look at the female lead and have a go at Fulfillment Finder. You can take the survey, it's all free, and you can discover your persona. And please do go to number 7's Unstoppable Together landing page and get involved. So I leave you with that thought, and I hope some inspiration. And thank you all, and have a wonderful evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. Thank you.